Welcome to this episode of the Harpreet Singh Show. In today's segment, we're going to talk to Maureen McGrath. ਇਹ CKNW ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਐਤਵਾਰ ਵਾਲੇ ਦਿਨ ਇੱਕ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਕਰਿਆ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਬੈਟਰ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪਸ ਬਣਾਉਣੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਫੋਕਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਪਿਛਲੇ ਲੰਬੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਸੀਰੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾਰਟਿਸਿਪੇਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਹਸਬੈਂਡ ਅਤੇ ਵਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿਚਕਾਰ ਬੈਟਰ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ। ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਅਹਿਮ ਮੁੱਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਹੈਲਦੀ ਸੈਕਸ਼ੂਅਲ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਜੇਕਰ ਹਸਬੈਂਡ ਅਤੇ ਵਾਈਫ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਹੋਰ ਸਟਰੋਂਗ ਹੋਣਗੇ। इसी संबंध में जानकारी लेने Maureen McGrath. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So by now you must be understanding a little bit of Punjabi what I speak.
A little bit, yes.
Right. Okay, Maureen, last time what we had talked was that healthy sexual relationship is one of the ingredients for a better relationship between husband and wife. So if you could delve into this today and tell us that because you have pointed out in the previous episodes as to this is one of the major barriers many a times which leads to distractions, which leads to men and women going haywire, going to opposite sides also. But I also, like in the previous episode, you had mentioned that the first night is when the husband and wife want to be close to each other physically, but many a times with your experience what you told us was now it is something different because there's so much pressure on the bride that there are many other things which need to be looked into. So this is one factor, but then again this is a bonding and this is how our progeny continues and how our human existence has been there. With your experience and your expertise, tell us today that what are you finding, what's happening in the society and how we can have better, healthy sexual relationships?
Well, I'm finding that people don't place the value that is necessary on intimacy. Intimacy is an extremely important aspect of any intimate or romantic relationship, shall we say. And we also see desire discrepancy between men and women.
Okay.
And it may have something to do with society and the different pressures that are placed on men and women, but also people are not prioritizing intimacy in their lives as well. And if that goes on for any period of time, even a year or 2 years, it can really lead to troubles in the relationship, and somebody in the relationship may actually go outside of the relationship and seek other sexual intimacy because it is such an important aspect of our relationships.
So what should be done? Of course, as you said, that intimacy has to be preserved, has to be kept, but with passage of time, more pressures on both the spouses, and definitely from the women's side, low sexual desire also is seen as one of the major reasons which creates issues, challenges between couples. What would you say about this?
That's right. Well, that's where communication comes in.
Okay.
We must keep the communication going. Say what you mean what you say, and don't say it mean is a mantra that I use, or a recipe that I use, or advise people to use in their relationships. And that works quite well for people. But not being afraid to speak about your feelings or talk to your partner about something that is happening, like a medical condition may occur. A lot of young men these days are experiencing erectile dysfunction. That's the inability to attain and maintain an erection adequate for penetrative sex. Now that's something that we associate with older men over the age of 40, where 40% of men at age 40 may experience some degree of erectile dysfunction. But we're seeing it in the younger men, and that's a big issue. And some of the reasons for that are the drugs that young men are doing today, smoking cigarettes. Obesity is another reason for erectile dysfunction. So living a healthy life is also vital and very important. Men may feel shame when they experience erectile dysfunction, and that may be something that they don't want to speak to their partners about because they're so embarrassed. So that may lead to less time and or activity in the bedroom, and that can have a negative impact on any relationship.
Stress also is a major contributing factor?
Stress is a major contributing factor to erectile dysfunction. Of course, you need to be psychologically aroused, and in order to be psychologically aroused, one must be at peace in their mind and in their soul. And if you're worried about something else, or you're distracted, or something else is going on, that may also lead to erectile dysfunction, and you may not be able to experience an erection.
And if we see some stats, we find that in women there is a lower sexual desire also. That also is studies have found out. So what do these studies point out?
That's right. Well, the PRESIDE study, which was done in around 2008, actually showed that 45% of women between the ages of 24 and 44 experience some degree of low sexual desire. That can be situational, it can be general, it can be acquired, it can be lifelong. There's many reasons behind it. If it doesn't bother a person, if it doesn't impact the relationship, there's no problem. That study also found that 12% of those 45% of women were bothered by this situation. So they may in fact have a problem. They may have hypoactive sexual desire disorder, which is a recognized medical condition for which there's really no medication. And again, that's where women lose out a little bit. There are 26 medications approved by the FDA for men for sexual dysfunction, but 0 for women. So we really have to even the score on that one. But that's a real medical condition, and there are many other medical conditions that can actually lead to low sexual desire.
So your advice would be to go and talk to a doctor or to a counselor if men and women are facing these issues?
I think the first person you want to go to is your partner, actually,
right.
And keep that communication going. For example, women may experience vaginal atrophy. That's a condition that is associated after menopause, where the estrogen receptors decrease in the vagina. And that can lead to vaginal dryness and painful sex. So nobody wants to have something that's going to hurt or do something that's going to hurt. And so it's important that if you're not having relations with your partner or your husband because you're experiencing painful sex, then you may want to talk to him about that, because he may actually feel that you're rejecting him, or that it's for some other reason, or that the woman is having an affair. That's an important medical condition, and as you say, go and speak to your doctor. So you want to speak to your doctor if you're experiencing vaginal dryness, because vaginal atrophy, which is the condition, is also associated with burning and recurrent urinary tract infections, which are dangerous for people over the age of 65. You can also get a little bit of bleeding after intercourse, which can also frighten people. Itching also, and urinary incontinence is another reason, or is another symptom of vaginal atrophy. So lots of things can occur that can impact low sexual desire.
And finally, last time we had talked about that young couples are not wanting to have babies, and that is also many times the woman wants it, but maybe the man doesn't want it. So again, these trends are increasing in our communities. Is that also one of the major reasons that relationships don't get strengthened in the longer run?
It may be, or it may not be. It's a couple's choice whether they decide to have children or not. But I have to say, what kind of a society are we living in? Or what I must ask, are we so self-centered that we're more concerned with our Lexus and our second home and all of the things that we're able to purchase that will not actually feed our soul, that will not actually make us feel happier or better? It's important to have a family if you so desire. But so I have to ask, are we raising an entitled society? Are we raising selfish people who are not going to procreate and carry on the human race? And what is behind that? So that's a very big subject, and
absolutely.
And
in our next episodes, we'll touch these issues also, because that's what we are facing in a society. And you talked about a very important point, that entitlement. So how to understand that concept of entitlement? What is our contribution back to the society also? Thank you very much for your time.